Hey everyone, what's going on? What's up, y'all? We are doing our first real estate and business fireside chat with Zach and Foley today, and we're very lucky to have Nick Huber on as our first guest, the Sweaty Startup. Many of you know him, probably very much fewer of you know both Zach and I. And so we'll just do a quick little introduction here for each of us, and then we'll get right into our questions and topics with Nick. So, Zach, why don't you take it away?
Yeah, fair warning. I'm going to try my best to whisper today because my audio, you guys will learn about it, but I'm in a large concrete box, which is exciting. Um, we've been trying to figure that out. But Zach Mulzer, founder of Mulzer Development, Kansas City based real estate development firm focused on pretty much anything in use multifamily. I've got a $37.5 million adaptive reuse project going on in the heart of downtown that we're converting to 122 apartments, top floor cocktail bar, and about 20,000 square feet of amenity space. And then I'm in my other concrete box right now. This one is a 40,000 square foot building that will convert to 10,000 square feet of office and retail, another outdoor cocktail bar, and then 8 large scale lofts. So super excited to be here and to pick Nick's brain as he loves it when people reach out and say.
Awesome. And I'm Foley Schmidt. I'm a co-founder of Mindful Real Estate Partners. For the last 24 months, we have been sourcing developers and developer relationships through places like X or Twitter. Small developers who are generally building infill, ground up, small single family and multifamily projects. Think duplex, triplex, quadplex, all across the country from Oakland, California, all the way to South Jersey and many places in between. We partner with those developers to help them scale faster, and we bring the full capital stack, both on the equity and debt side, to help those developers do so. And without further ado, I'd like to introduce our first guest, Nick Huber. Nick, you are doing plenty and plenty of things. You own 8 businesses. You also just released your first book, The Sweaty Startup. And I think many people have gotten to know you over the years through your presence on social media. So why don't we just jump right in with what you're up to? So would love to get the update on a few businesses from your perspective. We hear some things online, but would love to just understand, first off, what's going on with cold storage? What's the update?
Yeah, let's go real estate first. Thanks for having me, guys. Zach, when's the grand opening? When's the party at the cocktail bar?
So the Aladdin will open in June of next year, but because of the World Cup, we're gonna wait to have like the opening party because otherwise, like hotels and flights will be a shit show. So we're gonna have the opening party sometime in August or September. So stay tuned. It's gonna be nuts. Got a drone show, all the whole 9 yards.
Cool. I love it.
Are you playing your trumpet, by the way?
Yeah, and Joe and I are gonna have a little band. Joe will play the guitar, I'll play the trumpet, and we still need to find a singer. So that's TBD.
Yeah, man. So the real estate business, self storage is hard. Move outs are up, move ins are down. It's the first time I think in 20 years that all 3 major REITs, CubeSmart, Public Storage, Extra Space Storage, posted quarter over quarter or year over year decreases in revenue. So revenue is down at Public Storage, CubeSmart, and Extra Space in Q2. Marketing spend to lease up, new projects or just general, leasing is up to all-time highs. So people are spending more than ever on customer acquisition costs. Debt service is double the price that it was in 2022. As you guys know, interest rates are 7% now instead of 3.5%. So yeah, you add up those 3 things and it's a brutal business right now. I think honestly, there's a lot of self-storage syndicators that are teetering on the edge. I don't know if you saw that tweet that I sent yesterday. But yeah, man, it's crazy. Like we bought a lot of storage in 21, a little bit in 2022, and virtually nothing in 23 and 24. Very lucky that, we were disciplined to not kind of go after and chase those deals. A lot transacted in 22, in 23, and even into 2024. But yeah, man, we had a stressful period to refinance all of our loans without calling any capital, which we did. Very proud of that. So we didn't call any cash from any of our investors to refinance all of our debt. Our next maturity is a small deal in 2027. Most of it is 2030 or later. So yeah, man, Bolt Storage is in a good spot. Debt yield across our portfolio is 13 plus. So generally speaking, yeah, it's really good. But man, it's still many of our deals behind projections. Many of our deals not hitting preferred return. One of our deals is not spitting capital. Luckily, it's a very small deal down in Florida. But I think we're in a lot better spot than so many other self-storage investors. So I feel very lucky, and it's given us a lot of time to really hone in on the team and the ops. If you guys want to go deeper, I'm happy to. I think folks might get something out of it. But yeah, we're in the weeds, like figuring out, how can we convert 42% of our incoming calls instead of 30%. And that's what we were able to do over the last 6 months, which is huge for self-storage. But even with that, like even August, like this year is, I think we had 600 rentals so far in August. Last August, we had 900 rentals. So we're going to come in 200 rentals lower than last August. And we're better. Like we're doing a better job.
And for those who aren't familiar, what does the seasonality of the rental business look like? And does it matter as you look across the country? Is that like more regional in terms of seasonality, or is there, typically a seasonality type of situation
definitely
across the country?
It's definitely seasonal. So it starts up in April. May, June, July are the 3 busiest months, July being the busiest. And then August starts to really slow down. And then September, October, slow. November, December, January, February is when not a whole lot happens at all in the self-storage business. Like literally you'll rent half as many units in November and February as you do in July. So
it's similar to multifamily, where like rents, like it's the best time to move if you want to get a good deal on an apartment, is move in December,
when school's
January. Nobody else is
doing typically coincides with, those college graduates signing their first lease in, May, June, July, their first year after school, and then just repeating year after year after year. And then
we're seeing
as
deals.
You look forward,
go ahead. Yeah, we're seeing deals like because we're actively getting after acquisitions. We bought 2 industrial buildings in Athens over the last year and a half, which are both doing really well. So we can chat a little bit about industrial, but storage wise, like we saw a deal come across our desk in early 2024 at $3 million. Went under contract right away. It fell out of contract. This is in a southeastern metro. Fell out of contract, went on the market at 2.5, went under contract, fell out of contract. We were looking closely at it around $2 million and realized that I'm going to pull up my tweet from yesterday just so I can quote these numbers, but I'll tell you, 2022 revenue at this property was $449,000. 2023 revenue was $415,000. 2024 revenue was $357,000, and trailing 12 is $334,000.
And has occupancy changed a bunch, or is this just like giving discounted rates, offers to try to get people in the door to solve the occupancy problem?
Yeah, our occupancy is a little bit higher than it was last year. The REITs have not seen a big dip in occupancy. They are just dropping the floor out of pricing. So pricing in many, many markets is down 50, 60, 70% off 2021, 2022. So yeah, man, I think opportunity is coming because the game is not full of a bunch of people who buy storage anymore. Like 2022, 2023, everybody and their brother was going around buying storage. You did not need to be a good operator to lease it. Those folks are on to something else now because they stopped finding things to buy. Maybe they have a couple of deals that they own. Hopefully they're going well. But generally speaking, acquisitions is dried up. And then a lot of the mid-sized groups, I think we are on the small end, right? We bought $50 million in 2021. That's the biggest year we've ever had. We have about 120 million, of acquisitions under our belt in all real estate. We're on the very small end, but a lot of folks between the, 50 to a billion of assets under management of storage, I think they're in the hurt box, man, especially if they acquired a lot of storage with 60, 70% leverage in 22, 23, 24. By 2022, we were using by 2022, we were down to 60% LTV when we acquired, and By the end of 2022, we were at 50% LTV of what we were acquiring, and still a little bit of stress at some of our deals. So yeah, it's coming, in my opinion.
You know what's
I think,
crazy?
go
Unrelated
ahead,
to
Zach.
all this is as we started this live stream, for those of you guys who don't know, Taylor Swift and Travis Kelce just got engaged. So shifting topics, how does this affect the real estate market? It's big news
Well,
that happened on my live stream.
one thing I wanted to ask you about, Nick, is sort of, and I think you were going there, which is, these small operators, I think across lots of, real estate asset classes have gotten absolutely torched since interest rates have risen over time. And so there becomes this environment of feast or famine. The small guys that were buying during a time where everything was up and to the right are starting to be weeded out. They're probably, in the midst of, selling or starting their AI startup or whatever is next.
Mm-hmm.
But are you seeing now a ton of deal flow? And what do you think the next, year and a half looks like in terms of your acquisition strategy, given that, some of these portfolios are going to be available on a discount?
I mean, it used to, so we did get one $3.3 million deal acquired. We're closing, I think, Thursday or Friday of this week, or maybe early next week, in the Midwest. That deal took us 14 days to raise the money for, and we were raising about 1.5 million of equity. Whereas in 2021, we could raise 1.5 million of equity in one day. So maybe it's because our list is a little old and our investors, just a general recession is happening. But B, that people are watching the self-storage earning reports. Like, people know that self-storage is not performing that well right now. The REITs are all down 60% plus since, the all-time highs at the end of 2022. So depends on how much money we can raise, I guess. I think a big part of my life over the next 2 years will be on the fundraising trail, whether we raise a GP fund, whether we still go deal by deal, whether we just go get some committed sponsors, or some committed LPs. So yeah, it's going to be some opportunity, in my opinion.
I'm in the same boat.
Yeah, Zach, what are you seeing in Kansas City in terms of asset prices? I know you've been very, very, very hungry in terms of your appetite for new acquisitions. What have you seen from a asset pricing perspective in your market?
I mean, it's funny. So there's not a lot of distress here in Kansas City in an overall sense of normally when you hear distress, you think, high leverage and just not well capitalized. There's a couple deals that we've been tracking for, the better part of a year. Hell, I'm sitting in one of them that I closed on about a month ago. But, you have these brokers that come out with original guidance and pricing of, let's say, 40 million. And then, I underwrite it. We look at it. We're like, that's worth like 25, maybe a little more than that. But we're not even offering on this. And then it comes down to 38 and 36. And then they're sending us an email saying, hey, you guys, we'd love to accept your offer at 25. We're like, well, shit, that means we're wrong on our pricing. Because if we won at that, then that means we were right at first, which means it's gotten worse. So I don't want to buy it at 25 now. So it's just, there's not a lot of deals like that, but there are some. Again, time kills deals. But if you hang around the hoop long enough for some of these distressed deals to come back to you, that's when the real opportunity rises.
Totally. Let's shift gears here for a second. Nick, I want to talk about your biggest acquisition ever, which was for $52 million with Somewhere. And I think over the last 5 years, I worked and had a private equity fund in the Amazon aggregator space. So what we saw was a lot of offshore labor. I think we had personally a fantastic experience with offshore labor. My private equity fund was acquired by a bigger aggregator that had 75 employees, $75 million of revenue. And about 60 of those 75 employees actually were in the Philippines. Fantastic employees, very driven, obviously paying a fraction, $13,000 to $15,000 on average for the same type of individual that you could probably find at the mid to lower, market in the United States. But hungry people who spoke great English, who were super motivated, loved working for an American company. And I think a good fit for many use cases and many entrepreneurs and their businesses in the States. So talk a little bit about raising the money for that acquisition, how it's gone so far, and where you guys see the business going.
Yeah, man, it's been a heck of a ride. I'll tell you, I thought I knew a lot about business, entrepreneurship, private equity before I did this deal. I have learned a ton. An update on where we are now. Our headcount's grown a little bit at Somewhere. When I acquired the business, about 150 employees. We're up to about 180 if you count our own full-time contractors. Revenue's up about 40% if we finish the month where I think we're going to finish this month from when I was negotiating the deal, which was like me and Marshall came to terms in December 2023 and ended up closing in early 2024. So yeah, overall it's been good. I'm really excited about the future. We got some recurring revenue coming in from kind of our talent on demand offering that we rolled out. We got about 250 grand of well, a little over 200 right now of recurring revenue. And I'm eating the dog food. Like we have 6 Americans at the company today. Bolt Storage, 6 Americans at that business. RE Cost Seg, 2 Americans at that company. And RE Cost Seg we can talk about as well. There's 65 employees and growing phenomenally fast with the big beautiful bill being launched. So yeah, it's wild, man. Like literally just hired a chief operating officer for RE Cost Seg in South Africa, head of finance in South Africa, financial analysts in Egypt, operations managers in Colombia, legal assistants in Mexico. So yeah, total game changer when you can build businesses with the low overhead. I think it's one of the reasons why Bolt Storage has been able to survive, frankly. Like if we were running a PE shop with 5 million of overhead with 40 employees in America, like our management company is a little bit above break even right now. It would not be if we had to employ all Americans at that company.
Yeah, that makes perfect sense. And so if I'm listening right now and I'm an entrepreneur, and I've thought about offshore talent, what do you think a sort of prime avatar or avatar as an entrepreneur or company looks like who could benefit from the services of Somewhere?
Man, that's a good question. I think we're all over the place. We have a lot of real estate businesses, design, architecture, estimating, legal departments, finance departments are getting offshored by construction businesses, real estate PE and management companies. Just like I said, Bolt Storage, we have a head of finance and a head of acquisitions who are in the States, but our best underwriter is in Egypt. Our best, financial analyst is in Colombia. Our best, our FP&A specialist, our like CFO caliber talent is in Johannesburg, South Africa. So, the world is your oyster, really. It is unbelievable, just generally speaking, how few companies actually do it, though. Like if you look, I guess I'll throw a question back to you guys. What, if you had to guess, like the small businesses that you interact with in your towns, right? And I'm talking small business, like 5 to 10 million of revenue, maybe that range. So, the 2 or 3 biggest landscaping companies, the biggest, waste removal company in your town, some of these big contractors with some of these businesses, how many of them have what percentage of them have a single employee overseas?
I think it's interesting, and Zach, I'd love your perspective on this too. But I think it's changing, and I think the market's changing. Yeah, Zach said 20.
I would guess 20%. I don't know. I would hope.
I think it's less, but I think the shift is coming, right? You see sort of the silver tsunami, all of these service businesses, for example, which I think is a big percentage of the $5 to $10 million businesses in revenue. And what you see is, the 45-year-old owner is not interested in changing his ways. He's not interested in hiring offshore talent. I think, it's probably not something to get excited about from that person's perspective. But as you have all of these young people who are starting and building their own service businesses, and they understand, the cost of hiring someone over there to do the same quality work that you can hire in the U.S.
And it's not even just service business. I mean, you go look at someone like myself, like development. It's an old white man's business, right? Someone like myself who's coming in and using innovation, technology, offshore. I mean, a plethora of different items. Not only lower overhead, lower cost on construction, lower soft cost, but get things done faster and more efficient. I think that's what's going to help catapult us for what we're building.
And Zach, how do you think about using Somewhere as a resource for yourself in the future as you build out Molzer Development, which has gone from taking on a single $37.5 million project to now buying additional buildings and having sort of deal flow in front of you all the time.
Yeah, I mean, I definitely have thought more and more about getting a VA. At the time being, I still need to make money first. Molds Development does not make money currently, but that's the beauty of development. Ideally, in the next 6 months, I've got at least a VA working for me that can help with the scheduling, shifting through, hey, don't meet with this person, do meet with this, and all of that. Because right now, my inbox between text, emails, all that, especially since blowing up on social media, is a shit show, to say the least. It's a good thing, good problem to have, but it's also not the best use of my time.
My EA is so good, man. Like I'm getting a water filter system put in at my house, and I made a video. This is my strategy with my EA. Like I had to get some gravel delivered. I need some, landscaping done over here. I will make a video on my iPhone. Like, hey, here's where the water line comes in the house. I'm in the garage now. Here's where it comes in the house, in the garage. Hey, look, here's a wall with a drain on the other side. There's a bathroom right on the other side of this wall. There's power right there. I want to put the RO system right on this wall. And then I give it to her, send it to her on Slack. She puts it on YouTube, unlisted, and shares it with the contractors, calls around. Half of them can give a price from my video. The other time she's like coordinating them to come to my house. She's talking them through what needs to happen while they're at my house. And then she makes a Google Doc where, hey, we have 5 bids for an RO system. They're right here.
That's so sweet.
So I highly recommend you get used to just sending videos and voice notes to your EA. But I love the trick of like recording a video of what needs to happen, putting it on YouTube unlisted so she can share that link with the actual contractors. It's a major hack from getting any little thing done that you need done.
That's big time.
I think, just hearing you say that out loud, and I watch Zach's head go up and down from a development perspective, can definitely understand where the value add can be as Zach continues to build out his team. I know a lot going on over there. One other business I wanted to ask you about, Nick, and I think both Zach and I have a tremendous interest in this business because of how it affects both of what we do professionally. But let's talk about RE cost seg for a minute. I've seen some tweets over the last few months. It seems like that business is on absolute fire in a good way in terms of growth. What's the update there? Heard a little bit about the team that's being built out to continue to grow the business. How is that going? And what have you seen over the last couple of months?
Well, since the big beautiful bill passed, we usually quote and send out proposals for about $1 million a month during our busy season. So last March, April, May, we sent out $1 million worth of proposals per month. In July, we sent out 1.8 million of proposals. So far in August, we've sent out like 2.5. So it has been absolutely insane. We're going to have our first $1 million month of revenue coming up here soon. Our team is 65 plus. Again, 2 Americans on the team. So yeah, unreal, man. It's been crazy. Zach Prince was our CEO for a year, and he got an offer he couldn't refuse to go be a board member at a publicly traded company. And he left the company in a great spot, and we're now building the executive team over in South Africa. So yeah, it's been unreal, man. Crazy, but fun and hard.
Awesome. Okay, let's shift gears. I'd love to talk to you more both about building in public. And I think, Nick, it's no secret that you over, the last number of years in participating on social media, building in public and just sharing, I think, your takes on just about everything. It's no secret that, there are some controversial takes. Would love to talk to you about some of those things. And then we'll finish at the end after a few more topics with a shotgun questionnaire where we ask you to answer some of, I think, life's most controversial questions. But, typically you've called out modern norms like chasing your passion or over-reliance on tech versus, true barriers to wealth building. And some of these things I completely agree with, by the way, even some of the contrarian takes. Especially when you look at where private equity has spent their dry powder over the last few years on service type of businesses, which are very simple or sweaty startup businesses. And so from your perspective, what's the most controversial or misunderstood opinion that you hold that you believe that entrepreneurs really need to hear, and why is that the case?
Man, like when I look back, first of all, social media is different now. I don't know if you guys feel it. The algorithm is different.
Definitely.
Like what blows up is different. Your ability to drive actual revenue and businesses and meaningful conversations is harder. Even I think, 100,000 followers before Elon, or even 50,000 followers before Elon, Twitter was a more valuable place for me in my life and my career and my companies than it is today at 400,000. Maybe it's the fact that he's posting, underage anime, half naked things, and Elon's just kind of insane. But the algorithm's different. Like it's short form video. It's AI forward approach. It's a ton of bots. It's a DM. It's DMs that you can't.
I can't even look at my DMs. Like I can't even do it.
Yeah. So he moves fast, which I can appreciate because I move phenomenally fast as an entrepreneur. But there's some things he's got to clean up, and he hired Nikita. I hope Nikita can do it. But yeah, man, it's a different place. So put that out there. Number one. Number two is like the pendulum has swung, guys. Like in 2021, social media was all about tech. It was woke, and it was very one-sided, entrepreneurially focused. You know what I mean? Now there's Cody Sanchez talking about small businesses and buying small businesses. She's an amazing proponent. There's Hermosi talking about real, actual operating companies. It's no longer just Ty Lopez talking about how to build your Amazon company. That's not what sweaty startups is. And also, I think the pendulum kind of swung away from raising venture capital and going to Silicon Valley and trying to build a business that no one has ever achieved before. So I love to see that side of it. But as far as like my views and my controversial opinions on social, it's also kind of wild to see the pendulum swing that it's actually not that controversial anymore. Like it's okay to be a dude.
A Starbucks barista.
I was a little disappointed you didn't log on with pink or purple hair and a couple of nose rings without your shirt on, Nick. But we can talk about that later.
I think what's also really cool about the shift in social media right now, and like I forget who was telling me about this the other day, but they were like, Zach, what's so crazy is like if you were to get on real estate Twitter at like 3 years ago, everybody and their mother was tweeting about, oh, I'm building this, I'm doing this, I'm doing that. Not many people are doing that right now because whether they're on the sidelines or they're just not investing, whatever it may be. And so I feel like it's been cool for me to be like, hey, I actually am building something. And it just feels like I have a different set of eyeballs on me, which has been awesome because there's not many people actually doing something right now because of that, because the market shift, because of inflation.
Yeah, it's harder to make money now, so the people who aren't good at it are not posting anymore.
Or selling courses.
Real estate's not fun. So you're not going to have a lot of people still just gung-ho going to work, posting about their real estate business. So yeah, it's an opportunity, in my opinion, to build an audience if you are in the game and you are doing something.
How have you guys, and I think, Zach, this is very apparent from you. I look at, you were very early, I think, growing your X account, over 10,000 followers. It took you some time. But if we look at sort of the slope of the line as you've entered other social media arenas, primarily Instagram, and you look at the Moser development account, you've grown that account extremely fast. Do you feel like that's been extremely important to telling your story? And how has social media / short form video helped you attract investors, maybe even some subcontractors, other people in your network?
Yeah, I mean, from a subcontractor standpoint, it definitely has a lot more eyeballs and people wanting to participate, put bids out. I want to work with you. Let's collab, things like that. Investors, I mean, I've had a handful of phone calls from people. Hey, I found your Instagram and then went on your Twitter and then found your LinkedIn, and just, it's all interconnected at some point. I think the really cool part about the short form is from a local standpoint, where when I go into a neighborhood meeting now, someone in that room knows who I am because of a video that they watched, and their guard is let down because they know, like, oh, they were going to come in and, God, the greedy developer, I hate the guy. Oh, wait, that's Zach. Actually, I watch his stuff. He's not that kind of guy. He's actually a great guy. He's showing us the whole process. He's open, he's transparent. And that's been evident and clear as it pertains to me going to city council meetings, as me going to city hall. The process has just been a lot easier and smoother. And while I can't directly correlate that with social media, I don't know what else it could be besides my good looks.
Yeah, definitely agree. And I think, for the audience, one of the things that I think is really interesting about the three of us being on this call is, Nick has talked a lot about his ability to raise money through his network and building, on social media, building in public and what it attracts. That's actually how Zach and I originally met. Zach had posted about his Aladdin project. Literally 2 minutes later, I was in his comments asking to talk to him. 2 minutes later, he called me. An hour later, I made the determination that I was going to invest in his deal, pending a little bit more of due diligence. But it just happened like that, and it happened so quickly. And I think,
and for the federal government, I did not publicly raise funds or ask for funds on Twitter. Just FYI.
No, that was all me coming to Zach. But I think, it is amazing to see what people are doing when they build in public. And I think one aspect of that I really appreciate about the people that I invest in, which are basically, 75% of them have a Twitter account, they're a developer, they're tweeting about their experiences building, is like, it's a tough thing to do. And you take on a lot in terms of the responsibility that you have to the people who have invested in you. And you're also taking a large gamble by potentially failing in public. And so the accountability factor from my perspective is something that is really interesting. You talk to somebody who has hundreds of thousands of followers. Well, you either have a front seat to them having success, or you have a front seat to watching them fail in public. And so, as I look at both of you guys and the way that you've been able to build your following, I can truly appreciate, how much accountability you have to each of those individual investors, to your team, the people that you've hired, because this is not for the faint of heart.
Yeah, especially fighting through my first real bear market. Like, I would be way less stressed over the last 2 years if it was only my money. That sounds weird, but there is, like, if you're new to entrepreneurship, don't know what you're doing, and thinking about first step, go out and raise capital, I would not at all do that. I would find a way to make some money, make it, lose it, learn, make a little more, lose a little less, get better and get better. Because man, like, shit, like, if I went down in public, it would crush me as a man, because everybody would know.
100%. I mean, I had two companies in college. One of them did really well. The other one completely shit in bed, lost every single cent I had. And I mean, it just teaches you. But yeah, to your point, I'd rather lose that money and have it be mine than somebody else's. Because somebody else's money is scary.
But regardless, one of the things that I think about a lot, I've heard guys like, David Goggins and Andrew Glaze talk about this. It's that, I've never met a hater doing more than me. Right. And so you have lots of people in your comments who are talking negatively about what you're doing. From my perspective, Zach Molzer is a guy who, daddy paid for everything. That's the only reason that he's doing the Aladdin project, which is a very common theme that I've read over time. Nick, I think you've probably seen the full spectrum of hate given your following through the ups and the down cycle. But I think, the thing that matters, and the thing that I hope that if you're listening, that you really think about, is that, these guys that I'm talking to right now in this conversation, they're both in the arena. And that is a place that you have to be if you want to figure it out. But if you want to build something of value that other people value, that provides for your family and gives you opportunity, like, you really do need to be in the arena. So, one thing I'd love to just kind of shift and talk about here is, as you think about being a young college student who might be following both of you guys on Instagram or Twitter or whatever, what advice do you have to those people that are thinking about throwing their hat into the ring and really stepping into the arena and doing something on their own versus going the traditional, finance or consulting route, which is the route I took, and we'll talk about that more in future episodes. But what advice would both of you guys have? And Nick, let's start with you.
I think if you can get a job at Bain or McKinsey, take it. Like, I'll say it. And number two would be sales. What I thought entrepreneurship was me sitting in a room, scratching on a whiteboard, thinking of new things, being an innovator, being a visionary. And what I've realized is sales. What I've realized entrepreneurship is sales. I spend all day, every day, trying to convince other people to do what I need them to do, whether it's give me money, come work for me, trust me, invest with me, anything else. I'm either recruiting people and selling them on joining my organization. I'm going after customers and selling them on using my service and my companies. I mean, literally all day, every day as an entrepreneur. So my advice would be to embrace sales. I was not good at it at the beginning. I had to work on it really hard. And, once you get good at it, though, it can change everything.
How about you, Zach?
Dude, I mean, I was literally getting ready to tweet what he just said. Entrepreneurship is simply just sales. And I could not agree more. I mean, you're always pitching someone on something. 100%. 100%.
So one interesting...
There's more like...
Sales and herding cats too.
It's so easy to get sucked into what's cool and what everybody else is working on. Like when the AI bubble pops, and look, AI is unreal. I use 3 or 4 AI tools in my business that are amazing. I have, I'm really into longevity right now. I have Peter Attia and all the best health studies in the world in my pocket, and I can talk to them. Like, it's unfreaking believable how fast you can learn and what you can do with AI. It's still a bubble that is going to pop before it continues to rise, just like the internet bubble popped. I think it's all happening really fast. And I don't know how 99% of these startups are actually going to make any money. I really don't. So
I don't know how some of them do make money. I was like,
the entire AI economy is subsidized by VC dollars right now, all the way down.
Just like when you were taking an Uber right. Just like when you were taking an Uber in 2014 and your ride was $30, VCs paid for $15 of that.
Yep. And the only people making money are NVIDIA and the power companies. That's it. Those are the only 2 people making money on AI right now. Everybody, I guess we are as businesses because we get to use services that are subsidized. But like if electricity, it went up 10% this year so far. That's understated. As it continues to rise, everything's going to get more expensive. It's going to cost $150 a month or $250 a month to use ChatGPT. Who's going to pay it? Okay, yeah, I will. But will everybody? No, not even close. So yeah, it's I kind of worry about where it ends, which is, this is maybe pretty out there, but I was talking to a really smart buddy of mine when I was playing golf. And where does AI end? With the people who have it all, the very wealthy people, whether it be the companies or the individuals, having an automated everything, and the lower half of humans not being able to afford to run their dryer. That's what I worry about.
That makes sense. I'm thinking about, and I played football at Dartmouth. Nick, you ran track at Cornell. I went into investment banking both as an intern my junior summer and then full time after graduation. And I sort of think about, like, if that wasn't the case and that wasn't an option for me, where would I be going right now as a college student? I think to the point that you guys both made about sales, and just another interesting observation is, like, I've always wondered why Mormons are so successful. And if you look at, like, sort of the Mormon population as a whole, you're going to find a lot of really highly successful people. And one of those things that I think, and this is a generalization, but that Mormons are very good at is sales. And if you look at sort of the reasons why, it makes sense. We're going to send you on a mission to a foreign country, and you're going to go do door-to-door sales, essentially trying to get someone to buy in on your religious beliefs. And if you think about just door-to-door sales in general, it's like the pest control. Like, this for SpideX. It's like the pest control guy knocks on my door. I'm already kind of pissed off that person's knocking on my door at 2:30 Central on a Tuesday when I'm trying to get work done. Like, probably not a high probability of success, but there's so many people that can push through them. And if you think about
I got my start. I didn't intern anywhere in college. I sold knives. I sold Cutco. I sold $553,000 worth of knives in 2.5 years, targeting business owners and real estate agents as closing gifts. I would not be where I am without that, from a financial standpoint, but also from just, I learned more doing that than I did in college. I'm not recommending not going to college, but still, like, yeah, sales is everything. And that taught me the fear of rejection. And I can literally, can we talk about real estate trends and future outlook rather than Mormons? Thanks, Dale.
It's fair. It's just I
want to talk about Mormons.
Hand-to-hand combat. Hand-to-hand combat. Zach was bringing a knife to a gunfight. He was obviously successful in door-to-door sales. But I think just having that experience of really going and selling something that's difficult to sell and how you change your approach over time generally leads to success. So if I was a college student who didn't have a banking or consulting or high-end tech internship at Apple, like selling pest control or doing something might not be the most sexy thing in the moment, but I think the lessons and the experience that you have will lead to great successes when you become a professional. You look to do your own thing. You look to lead teams because all of those lessons apply. So we have
I can't
8
wait to give
minutes
my kid
here.
$1 million to start a plumbing company. Can't wait.
Exactly. I joked my 18-month-old son before he was born that he was going to be Manny the plumber. It wasn't a popular opinion in my family, but like they always kind of pressed on school, so it makes sense. We'll be happy when he's running his own $25 million plumbing business when he's 20 years old. Nick, on controversial takes, Zach and I have put together a list of some of we want this to be fun as well. We've spent a lot of time talking about real estate and business. Some of the most pressing controversial questions that we hear in sort of common culture. And so let's rip through these. This is going to be a segment that is sponsored by Somewhere. We appreciate both Somewhere's involvement.
If anybody wants a discount somewhere, email me, nick@sweatystartup.com. Zach, I cannot freaking believe you don't have an EA. Do you not value your time more than $7 an hour, man? Come on.
I know. I need one. I'll text you.
All right. That is phenomenal. So let's start with an easy one, Nick. Does pineapple belong on pizza?
Sure. Yeah, everything does. Pizza's my favorite food.
All right.
All right. Next, do you make your bed first thing in the morning?
No.
Good. Neither do I. It's a waste of time.
Does toilet paper go over or under?
I haven't used toilet paper in 6 months, man. I save all my poops for my house, and I have bidets in every bathroom.
Really?
Absolutely love it.
Even in emergency situations,
Of course, I've used toilet paper, but you do know about the emergency situation.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
no, I'm a bidet. I'm a bidet guy. I'll never go back.
Love it. Thoughts on people who clap when the plane lands?
Me and my kids do it every time.
Thoughts on people in seat 39B who stand up when the plane lands?
I don't think they're trying to hustle off. I think they literally can't sit down any longer because their spine and their glutes and their IT bands are so tight. They're in severe pain. So sometimes I want to stand up as well.
Do aliens exist?
Yeah, they have to. Absolutely. Statistically.
All right. This is a Southern one. I look forward to taking Zach to one when he comes to Texas. Is Buc-ee's overrated?
I've been to Buc-ee's, by the way. I have been. So chill.
I think Buc-ee's is awesome. Might be overrated.
Okay.
Like I never would drive out of the way to go there or like make a roads, a big event of stopping at Buc-ee's. But yeah, it's pretty cool. Like I go there and get my kids out and we walk through it and they don't know what's going on. They feel like they're at Disney World.
Right. You can get like 4,000 steps just walking around on the inside, like 2 good miles on a road trip. Joint bank accounts with your spouse or no?
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay. And when you think about the legacy that Nick Huber leaves and what your kids will remember you for, both in business and in your personal life, what do you want that to look like?
Man, life is hard. So I hope they have, grace and forgiveness for when I mess up, whether I lose money or let them down or miss something or say something that's hurtful or anything along those lines. Like I don't look down upon anybody who's been through hard stuff because man, life is not easy, but man, I hope they look at me as somebody who was a good influence and strong and wanted to make everybody else better. The way my social media is outlined, you'll think that I'm just an arrogant asshole. But you have to do that on social media, but B, I really want to see other people win. I really do. Like winning by yourself is not fun at all. I really care about my employees. I really care about my friends. So I just hope they see that I was a positive influence on a lot of people. That's my goal.
My favorite post of all time that you have is when your kid dropped the ice cream and you were like, I taught him a valuable lesson. I'm not buying another one. Life sucks.
Yeah, that was not true, by the way. I did buy him.
I figured it was just so funny. I was
that
like,
was to paint the picture for people. I put a picture on social media of my son crying with ice cream cone in his hands, or he was just sitting there crying at the ice cream store. And I said, yeah, he saved up all week with his allowance and bought this ice cream, and he dropped it after the second lick, and I didn't buy him another one because life is hard. And I think it
people
got
did not like that.
50 million impressions across Instagram, Twitter, Reddit. The Reddit crowd really didn't like it. But no, I do actually.
I posted one about, I copied your deck post like 2 years ago, and all of a sudden I get a text from my sister who's not on any social media. I get a text from her. She's like, what did you just do? And it's like a screenshot of a Reddit thread, and people are like, then finding my girlfriend's Facebook and being like, your boyfriend, piece of shit, blah, blah, blah. I'm like, dude, it was a joke.
Everybody in my immediate family knows to ignore those messages because I've stirred up a lot. Like when it makes it to the family group chat, they know that I did a really good tweet.
And I think, one of the interesting things as we sort of wrap up here, Nick, is, spending time with you in a forum like this, I hope, allows people to see, the people that will watch this, the people that will watch the clips that come from this, who Nick Huber really is as a human being, as a person who cares deeply about his employees, who isn't the, clickbait idiot that some people want to make you out to be, but that there is, a ton of talent and somebody who's extremely driven to do many things and is playing in the arena. And so, I commend you for that. And I think, having these type of forums to really show who you are as a human being and as a business person is just amazing. And it definitely differentiated from the way that a lot of people generally view you online. And so, the last thing here is, we have one comment in the comments here, which is, wondering from Dale, if you're going to take your shirt off for the end of this little podcast that we're doing here.
If people really want me to take my shirt off, I'll do it. You think
Dale said, Nikki, live torso reveal.
I think I've already done too many shirtless images on social media. People drink way too much protein.
Waking up on a Monday morning to see that you have a hashtag new profile pic was certainly a good laugh. So we appreciate that. Appreciate your time.
Yes,
Zach,
thank you so much.
You're amazing, man. Very lucky to have such a young guy who's building in public, doing amazing things at such a young age. And we will be back to chat with more interesting people, doing interesting things, having fireside chats with Zach and Foley. Nick, we appreciate you doing this. We also appreciate Somewhere for sponsoring this episode. Absolutely amazing. As Nick said, if you are interested in getting a discount, please email him. And until the next one, guys, have a great day, and we'll talk soon. Godspeed. Thanks, guys.